Everybody, this is Star with Large Lads, and today the video is going to be a little bit different. This is news, or some leaks. So there was some images that dropped and some information that dropped about a couple statues, and I think it might be really relevant to something that we cover a lot on this channel, which is the Elder Scrolls. So we're going to jump in and show you my theories on what I think it is. So where did this all start? It all started with a post from Jeff Keighley on his X. Regal inspiring thickness. It might not mean anything to most people, but we're going to jump into that in 1 second. I'm going to just show you the first image. This being some kind of statue or sculpture with a whole bunch of different, bulls and crocodiles and bears and whatnot else on it. Now, why this matters is apparently there's going to be a big reveal on December 11th at the Game Awards relating to this statue. Here's some more images of it. This is the full statue up close. We can see it in all of its entirety, and then a couple different little images here, some kind of serpent, some demon guy. There's lots of different theories on what this might be, ranging from Diablo. Apparently it was ruled out that it's not God of War, to potentially being Elder Scrolls 6. That's what I think it is, obviously. So that's this video. So like I was just saying here, if you look, we have Diablo, God of War, and then Elder Scrolls 6. So these are some of the things it could be. I guess it really could just be anything, but we want to hope and cope that it is the Elder Scrolls. And here's some reasons why I think it is the Elder Scrolls. So I'll throw some things up on the screen, as well as scroll to different things, and there's going to be some cuts, but I'm just going to run through all the different reasons why I think this is the Elder Scrolls, and not something else. So for starters, Regal Inspiring Thickness is actually like a geotag, and it corresponds to a real-life location. And that real-life location is in the Mojave Desert, which all Bethesda fans probably know, that there is a tie with Bethesda and the Mojave Desert. Granted, this is pretty loose. Obviously, Fallout has a tie to the Mojave. This statue doesn't look anything like Fallout, so that's kind of a reach. But reach we will, because we want it to be the Elder Scrolls. What else do I have? Okay, so here's a couple other things. So here's this Reddit post that I saw, and props to this Redditor, because there was some comparisons that I kind of had already seen, and I'm going to run through them. So first we have the crocodile, which you might think, why would there be crocodiles in the Elder Scrolls? Well, here's our crocodile, and then overlaid on the screen you'll see a Daedroth. So is this a crocodile or is it a Daedroth? I think it actually could be a Daedroth. I think it's totally out of whack that this statue kind of has all of these different elements to it. The bear, the crocodile, all of the demons, they kind of don't really go together unless it's not a crocodile. And the only thing I can think is if it's a Daedroth and not a crocodile, that it actually really does seem like an Elder Scrolls related theme. Next, we have a bear with kind of a human arm, so this could be kind of like a werebear type situation, or it could just be a bear that kind of has a weird human arm due to the sculpting. I know in Diablo you can, I think you can like turn into a bear, so it could also be Diablo related, or maybe even potentially Baldur's Gate. But to me, it's kind of giving more werebear, but it could be Diablo, so this one's a little bit weaker. But what I don't know is if in Diablo there's crocodiles. I have a feeling that you can't turn into a crocodile. I could be totally wrong. I don't play Diablo. That's the relation of the bear and the crocodile to me just seem way more Elder Scrolls than they do Diablo. That is, if the crocodile is a Daedroth and not actually a crocodile. If it's actually a crocodile, then I have no clue. Our next image is some kind of serpent. So this kind of goes a little bit further. This could be the God of War theme. Apparently, again, it was confirmed that it's not God of War, so I would think that it's not God of War. Obviously, in Skyrim, there's like serpent stones, and there's the serpents that are on like the puzzles and stuff, and then it could also just be snake related kind of in the game. I'm not huge on the serpent or exactly. We'll see what this Redditor thinks it is, because I think this is actually a really good Reddit post. I'll actually link in the description. But here's a serpent. It wraps around the whole statue. You might be able to see that in some of the other images, but we'll get to that. All right, up next, this is a weird close-up, and it might not really seem like anything initially, but when you see the comparison, it's hard to unsee. This is some kind of helmet from the back, and then here's our comparison. This is an elven helmet in Oblivion, and if we just like keep jumping back and forth, and I can actually side by side them on the screen. I'll do that right now, so I don't have to keep going back and forth. But it has a very similar shape, and then especially the horns definitely look the exact same. And then you can look at this and say, well, it's kind of just a helmet. I'm not really sold that I mean, plenty of helmets have horns. And I would say, yeah, no, that's correct. But next we have this armor from the back. So this is the back piece of the armor with the character that has the helmet that we just looked at. And if we see a comparison for this armor, a lot of people watching actually can just already spot it without it even showing it. But here is elven armor in the same game. Granted, it doesn't have the same pauldrons, but the kind of like overlaying armor is very, very, very similar. And that combined with the helmet definitely gives me an elven armor vibe, or at least some kind of Elder Scrolls related armor. And then for reference, actually, here's the Skyrim armor. It's somewhat similar, but again, it's not really like super comparable. Here is another image of a different character with the same armor from the front. And again, it kind of does look like that elven type of armor. Again, here's another one, kind of similar, has that kind of armor. This one's probably the weaker one, but a good image nonetheless. And then we have some bears. They're definitely bears. And this one could be like a wolf, though, is the only thing. It probably is a bear, but kind of could be a wolf. Okay, so this Redditor says about the bear, and they're calling them two wolves, and I guess they probably are two wolves. They're saying, I know, it's a generic animal, and I'm crazy. But why do they have such a Skyrim-style look? If you see it, you can't unsee it. But if not, then it's hard to prove. Why non-desert animals are in the desert environment, and why they have put the frontal part of the statue. Maybe because Bear is Windhelm Stormcloaks and Wolf is Solitude Imperial, and Tiber Septim has appeared in Morrowind with the name of Wolf. Very probably a coincidence, but a very nice one. And I can kind of see it, but I think the part that this really hones in on to me is that it's in the desert, and I didn't even think about that. We did the video a little while back, and I do think that the next Elder Scrolls is going to be in Hammerfell. So what better place to put the statue than in a desert? Granted, it's kind of a different type of desert, but maybe it's not actually. But I think that actually might explain the Hammerfell desert kind of relation and why specifically it's in the Mojave Desert. And last but not least, overlaid is the statue and a Vermina statue, which is a decoration in ESO. And to me, they look very, very, very similar. I know they have a different vibe, but there's the center cut down the middle of the statue on both. And then one is kind of exploding with a big eye, whereas the other one looks like it could be enclosed. So this could be a kind of portal type thing, and this game could kind of be relating to Vermina, and I think that would be a really cool kind of spin up and kind of be like the main story. Anyway, that's all my rambling. Hopefully I didn't take up too much of your time with my crazy theories. Actually, we're not done yet. I'm going to drop the leaked Bethesda schedule from a little while back, because I know a lot of people watching this video are probably like, hey, Elder Scrolls isn't coming out for a really, really, really long time. Well, if we look at our schedule, we're pretty much actually 3 years off. And because we see Starfield here is fiscal year 21. The Indiana Jones game was 22. The Oblivion DLC 22. Right. We have Doom Year Zero, which I'm pretty sure is Doom the Dark Age. So all these things that we're seeing are they seem to be about 3 years off. And if we look at the Elder Scrolls 6, we see fiscal year 24. And actually, I'm sorry, I meant 2 years off, not 3 years off. Starfield came out in 23. But Elder Scrolls 6 we have for fiscal year 24. I think it would be a great opportunity because we know Skyrim is 11/11/11. And coming up in 6 months, we'll have 6/6/26. So I think this definitely could be a release date for Elder Scrolls. Anyway, huge, not huge. It could be completely insignificant. Maybe I'm being hopeful and coping or whatever it is. But if you guys enjoyed the speculation, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe. We're trying to grow the channel in subscriptions right now. So please, would be huge. And I'll let you guys know if I find anything else. I'll drop some shorts. Also, the channel, a little channel update. We're kind of doing the... All right, I'm actually going to switch back to the full for the channel update. So for the channel update, we actually have a second channel. I'll link in the description where we're going to do some React videos to gaming news, and it's going to be more gaming news centric. I kind of wanted to keep the gaming news off this channel for the most part, unless it was something that I thought was really cool, because I don't want to flood you guys with so much different kinds of content. In the comments, let us know what kind of videos you guys like if you guys watch this far. But our new schedule, which is really an old schedule, but we're sticking to hard, is you'll see shorts will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays and on the weekends, and then Monday, Wednesday, and Friday are all of the actual like long form videos or semi long form videos. It'll be tier lists that might be really long or shorter videos like this that we'll try to keep under 20 minutes. So that's kind of the update of the channel. And yeah, well, I appreciate everybody who follows and who's watched this far. So thanks, guys. Have a good one.